Hello, let me get this set up here. Make sure that we're on. If you guys can hear me, if anybody's on, please give me a thumbs up so I can make sure that I've got a good internet connection over here. All right, looks like we are up. So let me give a few minutes for people to jump on because I have some really good stuff to share with you today. Okay. So we're sharing this in my groups. If you're not in the Harmony Restored community, you want to jump over there. It's super fun. Okay. All right. Looks like we're on. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up because I want to make sure that it's working good. If you can hear me, let me know in the comments. Just want to make sure that y'all can hear me before we get started. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Thumbs up? Yes? Okay, good. So let me close this down. So I'm gonna get started. I'm not gonna waste too much time because I have so much to go over today, and I struggled with anxiety for years and years and years, and then it kind of hit again for me not too long ago, and kind of out of nowhere, and it really surprised me because I thought, okay, I've got all these tools, I know what I'm doing, why can't I figure this out? And then around a lot of the same time, I've had so many clients reaching out to me, so many friends reaching out to me, family members reaching out to me, saying, I'm having this crazy anxiety. I can't figure out what's going on. What do I do? And I was like, ditto. So am I. One thing I noticed, I'm not going to go into it too much. One thing I did notice is that for a lot of people, it started around the election, around November-ish. My son, my oldest son, who is very sensitive and always is kind of my barometer for what's happening in the world, just really started to ramp up. My anxiety started to ramp up kind of alongside of him. And that's really when people started to reach out, was in the fall and early winter. And so if you're dealing with anxiety right now, you're not alone. A lot of people are. And I think the more that we talk about this and the more that we not just air it out, but really support each other and kind of come together as a community, the easier it's going to be to let this anxiety stuff go. So I have a bunch of supplements sitting here that I'm going to show you. I'm going to talk about food. I'm going to talk about all sorts of stuff today, but I'm going to try to make it brief because I know that you all have lives. The first thing, and I have notes in front of me, so that's kind of what I'm looking at here, but the first thing I wanted to go over was just to make a preface before I go into all this stuff, that healing from anxiety or autoimmune disease or whatever you're trying to heal from isn't something that you find. It's not an answer that you find. It's not something that happens to you. It's something that you tap into. And so a lot of times, and I know this is kind of can be my pattern and that I have to kind of pull myself out of, and I help my clients pull themselves out of, is trying to fix something or searching for an answer or looking for that missing piece of, doing everything right and still kind of not getting to that point B. And, I think what I want to preface this as is just how many of the symptoms are you having of stress or anxiety are really from the exhaustion of searching for an answer, are really from the exhaustion of trying to fix yourself, and how much anxiety that in and of itself causes. So just some food for thought. If you're an adult, what came first? The stress or about your health or the anxiety? And a lot of times the stress about our health will come first, and then the anxiety starts to hit and we think, oh, look, see, I've got this problem and I've got to fix it. And it just kind of, the cycle keeps going, where if we can cut the stress out and stop worrying so much about our health, a lot of times the anxiety will go. I know for me, and I'll feel it in my body if I'm reading a book about, I have to be vegan, or I have to be paleo, or I have to do this, or I have to do that, it starts to cause a lot of anxiety. And so I stop. Ashley, yes, you get it. So that's just kind of a kind of brief statement to start there, is to remember that healing from anxiety is not It's not reading another book. It's not finding another supplement, even though I am going to show you some supplements today. That's not what it's really about. Some of the supplements and the foods can be supportive to your body, but true lasting healing comes from tapping into that place within yourself that you feel at home. Because when we're anxious, we feel unsafe. We feel unsafe in our body, in our mind, in the world. And so it's really about learning how to feel safe with yourself. And you're not going to find that in green juice. You're not going to find that in a supplement. You're going to find things that support the body in healing and in health, but you're not going to heal anxiety with a pill or something like that. But these, the supplements, the foods, all of it can be really supportive to our nervous system. It can be supportive to all these different functions in the body that can help support you to get to a place where it's easier to find that safety within. So let me go over some supplements that are the best for anxiety. So the first one is magnesium. If you're not taking magnesium, you probably should be. So Remag, the person who wrote the Magnesium Miracle, this is the one that she, I don't know if she makes it or if I think she does make it. Anyways, this is when I take it. Tastes horrible, but I don't care. It works really well, so I get over it. I take about a capful of this a day, either a capful or a half a capful of this a day. So this is really good for headaches. This is good for anxiety, good for stress, and just that nervous tension. So if you're not taking magnesium, take magnesium. Foods that are high in magnesium, brown rice, oats, vegetables, and lots of dark leafy greens. So herbs, kale, spinach, chard, all of that are going to be really high in magnesium. And so this is a reason why I personally did not do well on a paleo diet, is I cut out a lot of these complex carbohydrates that are really soothing to the nervous system. So my anxiety ramped up, metabolic damage, all this stuff happened when I was trying to be paleo. And so when I added back in the oats and the brown rice and sweet potatoes, red potatoes, a lot of that anxiety really helped. Potatoes are really great for soothing stress. Bananas are great for soothing PTSD and anxiety. A question, does the Remag cause any digestive upset? I've never had any. So I think maybe if you are worried about that, maybe just start with a little bit at first and see how you do. I've never had any issue with it. The other piece of the puzzle is adrenal support. So the adrenal glands are two little glands that sit on top of the kidneys, and they produce adrenaline. And when we have too much adrenaline, then we feel anxiety. And so if the adrenal glands, they get triggered by stress, so they're pumping adrenaline, we start to feel anxiety. And then it kind of hits this thing where they're working so hard and so much that they putter out a little bit. And so we need a lot of adrenal support if you're feeling stress, anxiety, overwhelm, ramped up, any of that. Lemon balm is an herb. You can take that as a tea or in a tincture. I take that every morning. In a tincture form, I take usually like 10 or 11 drops of that. Nettles is another really good one. I usually take that as a tea in the morning. Nettles are really great for nourishing the adrenal glands. They're full of minerals, and they're really going to help rebalance all that magnesium and all those minerals that are lost when we're feeling anxious or panicky or stressed. So the nettles are good. Vitamin C is great. Stress depletes our vitamin C, which affects the adrenal glands. And so this is the one I use. It's Pure Synergy. It's the Synergy company. It's one of my favorite brands of supplements. It's all food-based, so it's nothing but actual like dried berries and herbs. It's all organic, non-GMO. And this is the Pure Radiant C. I do the powder because I don't like swallowing pills, but they have it in pill form as well. So I do quite a bit of that actually every day to help my adrenal glands. And then a Stress B, this is the one I have right now. I might actually get another one next time I need one, but this is Thorn Stress B Complex. Hi, Karen. This is, again, when we're stressed out and anxious, our vitamin B stores deplete really quickly. So vitamin B is really good for helping get our minds back into balance. Let's see. Oh, barley grass powder. So this is also the Synergy company. Again, my favorite people. Barley grass powder. This is just a powder. I throw this in a smoothie every morning. To me, it doesn't taste very bad. To some people it might, so maybe go small at first, but it doesn't taste very bad to me at all. But I'll put this in a smoothie in the morning with bananas and blueberries and spinach and coconut water and all sorts of stuff to just kind of get me going. So that's good. A pinch of sea salt in your water in the morning after you get up if you're feeling, I know for me, if I've had like an anxious or a panicky day and then the next day I feel super wiped out. So if you wake up the nenext day and you're having one of those days where you feel super wiped out, adding a little drop of sea salt in your water can be really helpful. That's because, again, the electrolytes, all that stuff gets wiped out. The magnesium, the vitamin C, the B, the electrolytes all get wiped out when we're feeling super stressed, super anxious, super panicky. So replenishing all that is going to help support your body in feeling better. Naps and bed before 10. I know those are two things that can be really difficult for people depending on your lifestyle or the schedules that you have, but that's been one thing for me in my healing journey that has been of utmost importance. And so for me to feel better, I've had to cut out those times to take care of myself and to sleep and rest. And there's days where maybe I'm not tired for a nap, but I will just take at least 15 minutes to zone out, to turn my phone off, and to just like reset my brain, and that really helps. And then going to bed, honestly, before 10, I noticed a huge difference in my anxiety levels. If I am in a place where I have a lot of anxiety and my adrenals feel wiped out, if I go to bed past 10, I will usually wake up with a headache and brain fog and all sorts of stuff. But if I can get in before 10, usually I feel pretty good. So that's just kind of me. Play around with it, see if it works for you. Another two things that I do for anxiety, I'm not sure how good you can see these, but the brand is Vital Force Technology. I don't know if you can get these on Amazon or not, but check. They're really good. These are trace minerals. This is stress relief, and this one is Master Brain Formula. They have a lot of different ones. Like they have an adrenal support one. They have calm, tranquility, healing, love, oxytocin, all sorts of good stuff. But these two specifically, 10 drops each in your water morning and night. This has helped me with like brain function more than anything else. I feel like these shift my neurotransmitter levels very quickly, and this is something I will not be without. We are going to go into some more emotional stuff here, but just to finish up things that you can be taking or doing. Rescue Remedy, so Box Rescue Remedy, they have one for kids that has no alcohol in it. This is Flower Remedies. It's really good for more of the energetic stuff. So if you respond well to energy healing or EFT or oils, I would try this as well. So this is really good for just kind of bringing it down a little bit, getting you back into your body. Because when we're anxious, we're usually living up here in our head, if you haven't noticed. And what Rescue Remedy does is it helps pull the energy out of up here and pulls it back into our body. So same thing with oils. I'm going to show you 3 oils. These are my favorite for anxiety. Valor, most Young Living folk know this one well. Present Time, and Highest Potential. So the 3 of these are so great. So if you have anxiety where you feel like you are floating out of your body, like you're just kind of up here and spacey, Present Time is a really good one. I like this one. I know it sounds kind of funny, but on the top of the feet, not the bottom where we think of usually putting oils, but I will put this on the top of my foot or my kids' feet, or just right here on the chest. It just helps, again, bringing you back out of that space and into your body. Highest Potential is just super grounding, super earthy. I love this one. I love the smell of this one. You just put it on your wrist. I'd like to diffuse that one. And Valor on your feet, bottom of your feet a few times a day, back of the neck. It's going to help just get you grounded. So those are my supplement oil recommendations. Let me know if you have questions about any of that. Most of that stuff you can get on Amazon, except for the oils. If you don't have an oil account or an oil person, let me know, because those are game changers for sure. Emotional things that we can be doing to heal anxiety. So EFT, I've talked about EFT in all my videos. I've got tons of blog posts about EFT. I talk about EFT and have lots of videos in my Keys to Calm ebook. So tons of EFT videos for kids, for adults in that ebook. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. If you need videos, go to my website, go to Pinterest, go to YouTube. They're all on there. I can post some below after I'm done. And then, so just more on the emotional level. And again, for me, this is where the real healing comes in. The supplements, the barley grass, the vitamin C, it's all great and it's all needed. But if you're really going to heal anxiety and heal these emotional disconnections, you've got to get to the emotional stuff. It's not, your anxiety is not because you're deficient in vitamin C. It's all good. You need the vitamin C, but I promise the emotional piece is the piece that's maybe missing. So anxiety for me is a lack of connection. It is living in the head, in the mind, and identifying with your thoughts and thinking this is who I am, and not identifying and connecting with your body, with nature, with God, with family and friends and people around you, and being active and doing things. For me, when anxiety comes on, it's because I've been too much in my own head, and then the anxiety happens and I get deeper into my head because I think, oh my gosh, I've got to fix something. When in reality, you don't have anything to fix. There's nothing you have to do. It's all about dropping out of your head and back into your heart, and then connecting with people in the outside world. So having a connection to yourself. I'm going to give you a really quick story. When I was struggling really deeply with panic and anxiety, a lot of times it would come up and I would just try to ignore it. I would push it away. I would say, okay, like it's there, but I'm just going to try to ignore it. And that was never good. And something I tell my clients is when you have an emotion come up, think of your emotions like a small child or a toddler. When a toddler is trying to get your attention, they will kind of be annoying sometimes and be like, mom, 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 da, 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 da. And if you ignore that child, the child is going to get louder, it's going to get angrier, and you're not going to enjoy, it's just going to not be pretty. If you have a toddler, you know this. But if you take a minute and you stop and you get down on that little toddler's level and you look them in the eye and you acknowledge them and validate them and hear what they have to say, then they will move on. And that's exactly how our emotions are. And that's why I like EFT so much, is because we're able to acknowledge and validate how we're feeling, because that's such a key in healing that acute anxiety, is to not push it down, to not ignore it. No matter how uncomfortable it feels, it's uncomfortable because you're pushing it down. It's uncomfortable because you're trying to ignore it. So just like a little toddler at your ankles, trying to get your attention, if you just stop for a minute and turn and look at it in the eyes and say, I hear you, I see you, then the anxiety is going to be like, okay, and just kind of move on. And that's how our emotions are. They are like clouds. They're storm clouds. And this is what we always say to my kids when they're upset about something, angry, anxious, whatever. We say, oh, it's just a storm. You're having a storm. And what that means is that, like our emotions, so here we are down here on earth, here's the sun, and then here are these clouds, this weather that comes and goes all the time. Some days are super sunny, some days are cloudy, some days it's really bad rain, but it always moves and it always passes. And so here we are down here, and here we have anxiety coming in, or we have depression coming in, or we have whatever the weather is that's coming in here. if we say, oh my gosh, and we start identifying with that cloud and we just chase it, we keep chasing it, and we don't even realize, oh yeah, it was just a storm passing. And so anytime my kids get angry, we did this weekend with my oldest. He got upset about something, and I was like, buddy, it's just a storm. It's going to pass. It's okay. Like, and all of a sudden for him, it's like, oh yeah, like I'm not going to be stuck in this feeling forever. Because I think when we're feeling anxiety, that's a part of the anxiety, is that we feel like this is it forever. I'm going to feel like this forever. And we start to freak out. I don't know if maybe that's just me, but if you're resonating with this, let me know. But that's a part of it, is realizing that it's not going to last forever. It's just a storm cloud. I talk about this in my Rooted in Health course and really go into that metaphor and how we can apply that into our everyday lives. But anyways, so getting back to connecting with ourselves and what that means. When I was really anxious and panicky, I would feel it. It would come up. I would ignore it. I would push it down. It would get louder, of course, because I didn't understand these principles. But there was one day where I just said, you know what, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to sit with it. And what I did was, rather than, getting up and like piddling around my house and trying to ignore it, I sat down and I started to meditate. And I'm not a really good meditator. I don't really like meditating very much. But I sat down and I just like closed my eyes and I just sat with it. And I had this visual. I'm a very visual person. It's what I use with my clients all the time. I had this visual of my heart center. So basically the core of who I really am. And it was this bright, pink, beautiful heart with just like so much love radiating out. And I could see the anxiety as something outside of myself, and it took the form of a black curtain. And what it would do, it would like come up, just like anxiety kind of comes up in waves. It would come up to cover that heart center, and then it would go away, and then it would come up, and it would go, and it kept doing this, and it was this black curtain like covering that authentic, loving, compassionate soul, who I really am. And so I sat with it and I talked to the black curtain, and I just realized that I didn't feel safe, and that was really what was going on. It wasn't the magnesium, it wasn't the diet, it wasn't the, whatever. It was that I didn't feel safe, like that my love, that part of me, like the core of who I am, didn't feel safe here. And so I just started telling myself, my love is safe here. And I made that my affirmation for a really long time. And so anytime that would start to, that anxiety would come up, that black curtain would start to rise, I would just say, my love is safe here. And it would pull that back down, and I would feel like, okay, yeah, I'm safe here. And the reason I'm safe here is because I'm here, and I'm here to protect myself, and that love is safe with me. And I'm going to protect myself. And so that for me was really powerful. So really connecting with yourself in that way, connecting with nature, getting outside every day. It's stuff you guys have heard before, but it really makes a huge difference. So getting outside and going for a walk, going for a hike, playing in a creek, there is a huge healing benefit on physical, mental, emotional levels to connecting with nature. Connecting with community and friends and people. Again, when we're in anxiety, we are connected with our thinking and our thought processes and our mind, and that's pretty much it. And we stay in this little crazy circle up here, and we don't get out of it. And so we end up not going out, we end up not talking to people, doing things, but that's actually, because we don't want to, but that really isn't in and of itself so healing. And if you have to start by just going out and saying hi to the mailman, do that. Just put a huge smile on your face and make their day and say hi and say thank you. And then build up from there and get to a point where you have these daily social interactions that, again, pull you out of your headspace and get you in your body and get you connecting with other human beings. We live in this very social media culture where we're just sitting behind our phones all day, and we're not actually looking at people in the eye and connecting with them. And that is incredibly healing for anxiety. And then let's see, there was two other things I wanted to say. kind of going back to that meditation with the, you know, with my heart center and then the curtain, you know, what I really want you to see is to see that the anxiety, not your anxiety, it's not yours, it's just an emotion, it's a storm. The anxiety is something outside of you. It's not who you are, it's something that you're experiencing. It's a storm cloud. It is the curtain. It's whatever, however you want to visualize it, but it's not who you are, and it's not a part of your identity. And so don't make it yours. Don't own it. Don't create your identity around feeling scared or feeling fear or having scary thoughts. That's just an experience that you're having. And you can separate yourself from that, and you can do that visually, you know, just in a meditation. You can just use an affirmation to maybe remind yourself of that. But when we're feeling anxiety, we're stuck in our mind. And our thoughts are just thoughts. That's all they are. It's not who we are. It doesn't mean anything. We have thoughts just like rumbling through our mind all the time. And underneath of all of this noise, we are calm and we are safe and we are whole. And that is what I want you to really be able to connect into, and to teach your kids how to do that too. Teach them now so that they're not in their 30s and trying to figure this out after years of struggling. Like, teach your kids that, you know, we have these storms, we have these emotions and these thoughts, and all these things come in all the time, but that's not who we are. We are the sun, and that is constant, and that's never moving. And we have all this weather that kind of comes, and some days are great for like really a long time, days and weeks we don't have storms, and then we have days and weeks of nothing but storms. And it's all okay. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to fix. There's not like some secret thing that you haven't read in, you know, some book that you're looking at on Amazon thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the last book I'm going to buy. This is the answer. Like, it's not the answer. You are the answer. Your heart and you connecting with that place in yourself, that is the answer. And realizing that anxiety is separate from you is the answer. So you have the ability to change your story. You can be empowered. These are just thoughts. That's all they are. They have no form. It's as soon as we believe our thoughts, then we feel something and then we react. But if you stop it right here and say, oh, it's just a thought, it's not true, like, I'm just going to let it pass by. That's when we start to change our story. Instead of identifying with ourselves in our thoughts, we identify with ourselves in our hearts. And that's when we can go out and change our story. So also 2 more things, daily joy. So just doing something every day that makes you happy. And I don't care what that is, if that's watching a funny movie or going to lunch with a friend or eating ice cream. I don't care what it is. I don't really recommend the ice cream one. But something that will bring you like some real lasting joy would be great. So doing art or writing or riding a bike or playing a guitar, taking up a new hobby, joining in a yoga class. It doesn't matter. It's whatever lights you up. Do something every single day that lights you up. So stop putting your happiness off for tomorrow or for when you feel better, when your anxiety's better, when you don't have a headache, when you've lost 20 pounds, when your kids stop fighting, when you've moved to a bigger house. Like, whatever the thing is, don't put it off. That just causes anxiety. That means you're living in the future, which causes anxiety. So don't put your happiness off. Create the joy today. And then again, the 2 affirmations that I'm going to send you away with are my love is safe here, which we talked about. And then another one that really helped me on my journey was it is safe for me to thrive in this moment. And so that is one that I would say, like, if I was out and all of a sudden something, you know, the anxiety started to come up, it's like, oh, it's safe for me to thrive in this moment. Because I think subconsciously a lot of times we'll get in these patterns where we are putting off our happiness and we're living in the future and we're like, oh, this isn't good enough. What I have now, my experience, my body, my health, my money, my family, whatever, is not good enough right now. And so once it all looks like this, once my body, my mind, my bank account all looks like this, then I'll be happy. And when we do that, we are uncomfortable with that. We're just telling our bodies, we're not safe here. This is not okay. This is not good enough. And so we get anxiety. It's, of course we do. Like it's, you know, if you're telling your little kid, everything that you are right now is not good enough, but once you start doing this, and this, then you'll be okay. Well, that little kid is not going to be a happy kid. That little kid is going to be worried, anxious, depressed. And so we are the same way. So we have to get to this place where we're okay right now. Our bodies are okay. Our health is okay. Our food is okay. Our homes, our families, our everything is okay right now. And when we're in a place where we're telling ourselves it's safe for me to thrive in this moment, again, it brings you back into present time instead of like being off in la la land or living in the future, projecting it out there, or, you know, living in your headspace with these negative thoughts. You can get back to this moment of saying, oh yeah, everything is freaking awesome right now and I'm okay. So, yeah, so Lisa, living for too long in limbo makes it hard to remember how to thrive in the moment. So we're retraining our bodies to say, oh yeah, it's safe for me to thrive in this moment. It doesn't have to be out there when I am doing this or doing that, or I feel this way or I feel that way. You know, again, if our emotions are like the storm clouds, like we can go out and dance in the rain. I know that's like super corny, but it's true. Like we can sit inside and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared of the storm, and hide away until it passes, and then we're okay. Or we could just go out and do fun stuff in the rain. Or we could make a movie night and have a good time, and, you know, like learn how to thrive in the storm, and not try to, don't identify with the storm, don't try to connect to it, don't try to make anything out of it. It's just a storm. There's nothing wrong with you. Let it pass. You're going to feel fine. Yeah. So the only moment is now, and that's so true. And, but I think once we really learn that on a cellular level, like we really reteach ourselves that this is it and life is freaking amazing in this moment, then a lot of the anxieties will go away. So hopefully that was helpful. I know that was so long, but so many people have been struggling with this, and I just wanted to get it all out there. Like, this is everything that I did. The food is helpful. Loading up on great complex carbohydrates that soothe the nervous system, the magnesium, tons of fruit, eat tons of fruit, the barley grass, the vitamin C, the vitamin B, all of that is so great. But if you really want, that's all supportive, but the real healing comes from connecting with that true part of yourself and realizing that anxiety is nothing but in your head, and that's all it is. And it doesn't mean you're crazy in your head. It just means it's just a thought, and all you've done is identify with it, and it's not true. And we can just go back into our heart. So if you're looking for more information, my Keys to Calm ebook has all of this and way more in it. Has tons of like how to heal negative thought patterns, and lots of EFT videos for healing acute anxiety and chronic anxiety and panic attacks and your kids' anxiety. And so there's tons of information in there. I will post a link to that. I'll also post a link to the free video series that I have out right now for the Rooted in Health course. It's 3 videos where I am chit-chatting with you about all of this and healing ourselves, and how the body heals and how the body deteriorates, and stress mode versus thrive mode, and how all of this works in our thinking process, and how to heal our emotions and heal our negative thinking. And so I will post that. It's free. So again, all this information is free. So please share it with somebody. If you know anybody who's dealing with stress or anxiety, please send them this video. It's my labor of love, and I just want to share this information because I know how many people are struggling, and I want to get it out there. So let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to continue to comment below. I'm here to answer your questions, and I hope you have a really great, calm day. Bye.